I'm going on a friend date. I'm really excited. I'm really excited. So, like, I love my friends. I love my friends. I've got some great friends. I don't know why I'm like trying to defend the fact that I've got friends. I've got friends, all right? Anyway, I have friends and we're just in like season of our lives where we're entering mid-30s. Like I'm 34 and I can't do math, but I'm 34 this month in like a couple of weeks. 2 weeks, 3 weeks maybe? Anyway, neither here nor there. And so all my friends are kind of in that category, that age bracket. And we're all kind of like doing our own thing now. Like my besties have moved away or like my sister is my best friend. I should say that. She's my best friend. She's just had a baby. So she's right in that like, you know, newborn bubble, doing her thing. We still catch up, obviously, like as often as we can. And we talk every day. And then other my besties that live interstate or like in a different part of Australia that's like a 6-hour drive away, we send like 20-minute voice notes back and forth to each other every single day. I'm not even kidding. It's like a mini podcast series, which should take a mental note. We should probably start a podcast series. Anyway, the whole point of this is to say my focus of 2025 has been to kind of start some new friendships, particularly because I've moved, like where I grew up, I've moved like about an hour's drive away. So like I'm still within like access to my friends and whatnot, but it'd be really cool to have some friends like in the area that I'm now in that are like local, you know, quick call and be like, do you want to go meet for a coffee in 5? That kind of a vibe. That's really fun. And do things around the area so I'm not constantly having to drive hours to go see people. Anyway, so I'm going on a friend date tonight. We're going to go see a movie. And I'm very excited. I'm not even going to take you along for this. I'm just getting ready and this is like just the introduction. But I do kind of want to talk to you guys while we're here. So we're going to take this elsewhere. You don't need to be in my bathroom. I'm going to sit you here for a little sec. Just ignore my washing. All right? We're doing laundry. God forbid a girl stays on top of her domestic duties. You know what I mean? I'm going to grab a little cacao and be back. You stay there. Okay, so we're back. I might actually, I don't know, should I twist you around? Oh my God, I'm so strong. Jesus, that's actually really freaking heavy. There you go. Better lighting. Light's coming in on my face. Anyway, got myself a little cacao. Have this every single day. I think I made this before in a previous video. It has been a little mini-o-so since I have made a video. A big part of that was kind of busy, but also like, is it imposter syndrome? I don't know, like that little inner critic that says to you, who are you posting for? You don't have any followers. Like, what are you doing? Which, I mean, has some truth to it, but it's also just like, I just woke up and thought, just post your content. Like, just post the content. Like, I don't lose anything by posting. And I quite enjoy it. I enjoy a little yap sesh. I enjoy a little chit chat. Like I said before, I'm sending 20-minute voice notes to my girlfriends every single day. Like, I've got things to say. Why not just record it? And it's like, I don't know. I enjoy it. So like, what's the harm? Then I did also, I got one single comment on TikTok from a girl saying, I miss your YouTube videos. And I was like, my single loyal fan. So this video is for you. My one fan on TikTok. This YouTube's for you. We're going to get into it. I was saying my little cacao drinky poo that I have every single day. It's obviously got cacao in it. It's just cacao. Put like they're mushrooms, but the one I've got in particular has full mental blank, but it's meant to be good for like ADHD brains. The irony of me actually forgetting what it's called. Ginkgo biloba. Don't quote me on how I pronounce things. Some lion's mane. It's by Super Feast. It's very nice. So I put that in there. Some salt, little coconut oil, like a teaspoon of coconut oil, and then the salt, I've said, boiling water, and then I put like 30 grams of collagen in it, and you just with your little stick hand blender. Very yummy. Anyway, there's no real structure to this video, so this could go here, there, everywhere. You know what I mean? But I think, I don't know, I guess it's like a little reintroduction again, because my last videos were, I don't even know who that person was, like filming those. I think I was like, it was post-breakup, and I just moved into my house, which we call Barbie Dream House. Anyway, so much has happened since then. So let's fill everyone in. 2024 was the year when I was like, I'm going to start YouTubing. That sounds really fun. I'm excited. Let's start YouTubing. I made like 3 videos. And then just went radio silent. So post breakup, fine. Sliving, slaying the day. Then went through a bit of a sticky. My dad died. That was big. Still big. Still obviously very jar. I don't know what the word is. It's just completely like, anyway, that was kind of like a out of the blue, get the phone call. He's been diagnosed with cancer. It was liver cancer, and he just deteriorated like so rapidly. Like we thought we had a lot longer than what we did. And anyway, so that obviously I was like, I have no creativity. I have no inspiration. There is no way I even want to film myself chit-chatting through anything right now. I was just like in the thick of that. And now it's 2025. We're in May 2025. It's Taurus season. We're about to enter Gemini season. It'll be my birthday. It'll be my 34th birthday. I can kind of say I'm in mid-30s now, and it's really fun. 30s is fun. You know, I'm trying to convince everyone. That bird is going to keep chirping throughout this video, so just stick it out. I think we're going to have a good time. I did actually write down some notes. So this has no structure, but I had to stick to some. I had to put some bullet points, share some things about what I believe, what I've learned in my 34 solar returns that I've had on this earth. For those of you who don't know who I am a clinical nutritionist and more recently an astrologer. That was like I've always been interested in astrology, and then during lockdown when like a whole pandemic hit and we're all stuck at home, I then embarked on my little spiritual journey and learnt about astrology, and then delved into some like basic courses, and then found another practitioner that was in my local area who did face-to-face like advanced astrology courses, and spent some years studying that and just like absorbing all of that and just like loved it. And now I get to do astrology readings, and now I just post a lot of astrology content on TikTok and Instagram, and nutrition content as well, mostly on Instagram, not so much TikTok. I guess what we can call this video is just like a semi-introduction to me. We've just done a little recap. We don't really, anyway, recap on me, tick, done. I guess talking about why I do what I do and how they all like combine together, like blending the science and the spirituality together, and basically how I operate and live my life. We can just get to know each other. Maybe we can be friends. Like that is my whole goal in 2025, is to make new friends. So why not be you? You know, let's be friends. Let's hang out. There's the cutest birds outside right now. I've been feeding the birds. I've been really into bird watching. 2025 new hobby, bird watching. It's been unreal. So I put seeds out in these little finches right now. They're so cute. Often it's pigeons, mostly pigeons, and I love the pigeons. Anyway, so some things that I have discovered throughout my 34 years / working as a clinician and just having conversations with people and just experiencing the world around us is that, one, everything is connected. I really love the way Joe Dispenza has kind of showcased and like blended science and spirituality, and it was something that I was really inspired by when back in the day I was part of a church, Christian church, Pentecostal. It was very welcomed at that time of my life. No longer practicing nor religious. Believe in some sort of kind of higher power, the universal laws, but I'm going to leave it at that. There was a speaker at a conference once, Caroline Leaf, Dr. Caroline Leaf, and I don't want to misquote what she is. I don't know if she's like a neuroscientist. Anyway, she did this talk on basically backing up like spiritual principles and scripture with like human physiology, biochemistry, like all the rest of it, like basically blended science and spirituality. And I was in awe. I think I was still a uni student at this time, and I'm like, this is what I want to do. Obsessed with like the brain, the mind, like consciousness, like love that. I was married at the time during the church era. So many lives I've lived. During the church era, I then got married. Beautiful man. We had a great marriage. We also had a really great divorce. And I know that can sound a little conflicting in a sense, but it was an amicable split. Stayed good friends. More of a friendship than there was any sort of romance and chemistry. That's from my perspective. Could be different on his end. Not going to quote for him. Not going to speak for him, I should say. Divorce happened. Living with my bestie. This was when like the pandemic hit and we're all in lockdown, and I moved in with my bestie at one point, and we got bunnies, which is just very off topic, but I still have my bunny. She's over there. She's giant too. I might show you in a sec. Full of the time that I actually have to go. I have to go. I've got friends to meet. I have a life to live. Anyway, no I don't. Yeah I do, but you're part of it. So where was I at? Marriage, divorce, pandemic. Yes, then discovered Joe Dispenza, reading Becoming Supernatural. I was getting right into like spirituality at this point and loving it. Started studying astrology, and I was like, oh my god, this is incredible. Like this whole quantum physics, quantum entanglement, like manifestation is real. This is how we like rewire the subconscious mind, and basically like manifestation starts from within. It's not about changing any external circumstances, about changing our internal state and our state of mind and our perception, and then we then perceive the world around us differently. Like everything is mirrored back to us. That's what I believe. That's what I've witnessed throughout. A really bad day this week, actually, this morning. So this morning, this is all over the place. This is how I operate. So either you're going to like and subscribe, or you can just exit out at any point. I will not be offended, honestly. Just please don't leave any nasty comments. Anyway, this morning I was going on a little walkie walk. So I was like, this is my one day off in a long time, like full day off. So I was like, I'm having a day of just like no plans, no agenda, no alarm, just whatever. And so I woke up, did my little morning routine, hung out with my animals, I was journaling, ended up just tending to some like creative work projects and stuff that I wanted to do, all fun stuff. And I was like, I'm going to go for a little walk because it's not raining. It's raining now, but it wasn't. You don't need to know the weather. On a walk. And then I just got hit with like, yesterday afternoon I'd been hit with a couple of things that like had triggered, like some old wounds that were there that I used to kind of shy away from like the triggers, and when I was getting reactive to things I'd be like, oh god, not this again. And now I'm just like embracing it. I'm like, the triggers teach you so much. Like there was obviously some additional pain there that I just needed to like self-soothe and regulate and pour a little love in. I did that and I woke up this morning feeling so much better. On a little walk, and I've got like the downtime set on my phone, so all the apps are like shut down, so I don't look at my phone during the night or the first few hours of the morning. Unlocked, like it turns back on at 7 a.m. That's while I'm walking. I glanced at my phone. I had some particular emails that were very stressful to read and just see. And so the most of my walk was me literally just walking and sobbing. Just walking around my neighborhood sobbing. Like it happens quite often. I'm sure people just see me now and they're like, there's that girl crying again. Actually fine. It was just like all very overwhelming and very consuming considering things that have just happened this week. It's just like, it's one of those weeks where it's just like anytime you check your phone or like something happens, like there's like teeny tiny little drops of just like stress. And then you kind of like, I'm at a point of like, I don't have capacity for this anymore and I just need to let loose. And I did. I just cried. Felt really great. But it brings back to my other point of like, I guess yes. Thank you. My, I guess, belief system is that like everything is always working out for you. And if it's not this, then it's something else. So all these other little setbacks, it's not this. These things that I thought were going to be set in stone aren't, and they're being taken away and like things are getting shuffled for whatever reason. Trusting that, because this has been evident throughout my life for the entirety of it. Things have kind of gone to shit. And then, am I allowed to swear? Anyway, and then it's gotten better. Like it's always gotten better. And I just feel like we are limited in our human mind and human way of thinking. Like our options where we think of like, oh, this would be really good, this would be really good, this would be really good, that we're kind of limited. We can only know what we know, you know? Whereas like there's such a grand expanse like universe out there that there's so many, like there's infinite possibilities could and could not happen for you. Not to you, for you. And so that kind of like carries me through. I just had to have a minute and just like let loose on those emotions because you don't want to bottle those up. Like tears are very therapeutic to let them out. And there are like stress hormones and toxins and that are in the tears. Like don't bottle that up. Like let it out. Have a good cry. Like just do it. We're going to leave it at that for now. I'm going to scooch on off for the movies. Go and get snacks beforehand. I'm going to get some like little chalky almonds and the Fun Days lollies because they're like sugar-free, gluten-free, and sugar for my brain, not the best. I'm also celiac, so don't want to have gluten. We're going to leave it at that. Hopefully when I edit all this, it's going to work out so much better than this ramble jumble. But unless you love the ramble jumble, I'm going to keep it up. Anyway, bye. Good morning. I'm going to pop you here while I make a little breakfast. That's really low down. This is how I make my oats, by the way. We're having a little podge. Podge is porridge. So I just pop it in a bowl, like the oats as is. I crack a bit of salt. You can't even see me. Maybe you need to be up higher. Anyway, we're just going to work with this. And we just pour hot water over it just to cover. And then get yourself a dinner plate. Put that on top. Just going to let that stew. Anyway, come have a little chit chat with me. I just got back from work. Taught Pilates this morning. I did walk. And then it started raining, but it was really beautiful. So I'm a little bit damp. It was like a sun shower. It was really pretty. It was like misty rain. So it was like nice to walk in on that note. So this like past week, I just feel like, especially, was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday on my walk, and I was just crying the whole time because I was just like triggered by a few things. And then it just got me thinking. It's so funny. I find like being in nature is always just so, I'm distracted by my own eyebrow. Just so like inspiring. Like it's just, we just forget that like there's this incredible world around. Like life is, what am I trying to say? Get your words out. I feel like life is actually really fucking beautiful when you're paying attention to it. And what I mean by that is like walking along, stewing on my little issues, my problems, the things that are just wearing me down. And then I just kind of see like the leaves have changed. Like along where I live during like spring and summer, all the trees get these like florally pink flowers. So like the whole street's just pink. I love it. Then they go all red during autumn. So you really see the shifts of seasons around here. It's so beautiful. And then now that then as it comes into winter, they're going to turn to sticks and become really sparse. And they're still pretty in that sense as well. Anyway, I was noting the trees, and because it was like that time in the morning where like the sun rays were beaming like at my face. So you could see like all the dew and like heaps of big spider webs. There was a massive one. I went from like the ground all the way up to like almost the telegraph pole, like the power lines. It was huge, like this huge network of webs. And I was like, that's incredible. Like all of this is going on and I'm here stressing about an email that I received. And I was just thinking, I was voice noting my girlfriend at the time because she's been having a particularly like difficult time. We're kind of going through similar stresses at the moment, which is really nice because we can both just like vent to each other. And I was voice noting her and I'm like, it's just like dawned on me. And I'm like, every single problem I faced has always been man-made. You know what I mean? Like when you worry about money, I'm like, money's man-made resource that we have. Like, yes, obviously, like it can create significant stress. Like my problems with that are man-made. And when I've had issues with my health, again, man-made issues, because it's like my body is responding normally to an abnormal environment. Because like when we think about it, like back in my day, like when I was a kid growing up, we didn't have the internet. We didn't have like computers kind of like just came out. Like people were just having a computer and you would turn it on at the power point and it would like boot up. You were barely on it. We didn't have phones. Like we didn't have so much technology. And I'm turning 34 in a couple of weeks. So it's like within my like, let's say 30 years of existence in that span, how much has changed and evolved like with technology and with how we live in our environments. And then to add to that, like all the different like chemicals and pollutions, like everything. And then the added stress, like I feel like we're creating this lifestyle to be quote unquote more convenient, but in the pursuit of convenience, we're actually creating so much more stress. Because I think like when we're like scrolling and like looking at our phone, seeing the notifications going off, it's giving us these like big hits of dopamine. It's like artificially induced dopamine for one. So it's like dysregulating our nervous systems. I feel that quite intensely. So I try to, as much as I can, put down my phone and have as much screen-free time as I can. Difficult because I work online. But anyway, all this to say is like, again, man-made problems. Like from a man-made environment, my physical body is then responding. And I'm like, the body desires to be in balance. This isn't to cast shame on anyone who is feeling that their body is kind of out of sorts or they're experiencing different health concerns, that like the guilt and shame and the blame's on you, because it's not. It's like your body's doing the best it can with what you've got. And to create more balance, it's like we really need to come back to what the body is made of, because that's what's going to heal us. Like everything is energy for one. So we do have like our nervous system and our like kind of electromagnetic fields around us and how the body responds to that like energetically. We also have like a physical body. We also need like air and water and sunlight. We're kind of like a plant, you know what I mean? And food in its most like natural and real state. Like my whole philosophy when it comes to food, to like simplify things, like as a nutritionist, is focusing on slow food. So that's seasonal produce. So trying to choose things that are in the season that they're growing in, because they're going to have higher nutrients that we are going to require throughout those different seasons. So like more vitamin C rich fruits and vegetables are seasonally around during like the winter months, because we do require more vitamin C during that time. Locally sourced, so that's the L for slow. So locally sourced as much as you can. So trying to get things that are grown and produced close by to you. So not traveling overseas, not traveling long distances, all the rest of it. Organic where possible. Like I know that's difficult because like inflation and it can just be like hard to source for depending on where you are. In their most whole state, so whole food, so as close to their natural state as possible. And that's kind of like my approach to how I eat, is basically trying to encourage more slow foods over anything else. And not denying myself like little treats and whatever like that I want. The body wants to be in balance. It desires that. And the things that like we are made of is basically going to be what is going to help heal us. And that's not to say like don't go see a doctor. Please go see a doctor if you are in need and get the appropriate diagnosis and testing and all the rest of it. But if you're just feeling like off, just understanding like you got to do the best you can with what you have available to you, trying to restore that state of harmony and balance within the body, because that's what it desires to be. Like the body's natural state is that of balance. So often we are feeling imbalanced, and that can largely be due to our environment or what we're consuming. And a lot of that consumption is not just through our physical foods and diets, but also like the thoughts that we consume. Like this, like again, like man-made problems, but this one in here, that's going to exacerbate my problems like 10 times. And you know what I mean? It's like past doesn't exist, can't change it. the future doesn't exist yet. We can't control it. We just have to kind of be where our feet are. I've got that little affirmation written down in my notes app on my phone to remind myself constantly. So just be where your feet are right now. Because when you think of the past, it's like layered with our perception, our memories. Sometimes we romanticize it. Like we've all got a different, like my sister and I will talk about stuff that happened in our childhood. We both have completely different memories of how that played out. Like the same event that we both experienced. And it's like, so the past is kind of like what was actually real in that past scenario, you know what I mean? Because it's all perception. The future doesn't exist. Our brain will try to look for familiarity and patterns to try and like predict an outcome so that we can like keep ourselves safe for whatever reason. But again, future's not guaranteed. We don't know what's going to happen. Like anything's possible. Just be where your feet are. That was a very long waffle. I'm just making breakfast. Deep thoughts with Brit. God. Anyway. So that's kind of where I'm at, just reminding myself that my problems are man-made and that everything is temporary. And I don't mean to say this is what, whenever I am feeling anxious, one, be where your feet are, but also two, everything is temporary. And not to sound morbid, but we're all going to die. Like regardless of what you do or don't achieve or do and don't like accomplish or whatever, whether you think you're a nice enough person or not, whether you think you're like an athlete or not, like, you know what I mean? Like whether you think you're skilled in one area or not, like, it's not a competition against people, for one. Like we all have our own unique gifts. But two, the outcome's the same for all of us. You know, like no one is immune to where we're heading. And that's like to cease to exist, essentially. And I don't mean to say that, again, to be morbid and whatever. But I find that comforting sometimes when I'm getting overwhelmed by things. I'm just like, it's all temporary. Everything is temporary. We're all going to cease to exist one day. So it's like odd breakfast conversation. But shall I show you what I'm having in my breakfast? Why not? Let's just shift gears a little. So that's that. I'm like hobbling around my kitchen right now. I put blueberries in it, but they're frozen. So I like to, it's probably not great for my back how I'm standing, but anyway, I like to just warm them up a little so they're not too frozen crunchy. If I turn that up and off, yes. So I'm going to wait for that. I also put almond butter on it, honey, which I do have another full one, but we're going to try and get the remnants out of this. And then I've got this little seed mix with like flax, pumpkin, sunflower, and chia seeds. But your omega-3s and omega-6 is also really great for hormone balancing, particularly like if you're doing seed cycling, so like helping to support your hormones throughout its natural cycle. Just ignore my rubbish there as well, the recycling. Anyway, flax seeds and pumpkin seeds within the first 2 weeks of your cycle, it really helps to support. One, flax seeds have phytoestrogens and they work as like estrogen modulators. Like people are fearful of phytoestrogens because they think they're going to like suddenly spike up their estrogen if they feel they're estrogen dominant. But it actually works as like an estrogen modulator. So what I mean by that is like you've got an estrogen receptor is like a lock. The estrogen's like a key. And so phytoestrogens mimic the body's natural estrogen, but they actually exert like a weaker estrogenic effect. So if your estrogen levels are high, they'll compete with your estrogen and bind to a receptor. But because they have a weaker estrogenic effect, it actually then helps to lower down your estrogen levels. Likewise, on the flip side, if you are suffering with like lower estrogen levels for whatever reason, including phytoestrogens, they're going to then bind to those receptors and kind of mimic a higher state of estrogen. So that's why they work as estrogen modulators. Anyway, those two in the first 2 weeks of your cycle. And then after mid-cycle, or if you're ovulating, after your ovulation, for that luteal phase, so the next 2 weeks up until you bleed, that's when you have sesame seeds and sunflower seeds because they're really rich in different nutrients that help support progesterone production. Progesterone's a lot more difficult to make than estrogen. And cortisol, like our main stress hormone, the precursor to make cortisol is the same precursor that actually makes our sex hormones like estrogen and progesterone. So if the body's under a lot of stress, particularly for like women, then the body's going to favor making a stress hormone than our sex hormones because it's thinking there's like red alert going on, there's stress. This isn't a time to be fertile and to reproduce. It's a time to get away from the threat. But the threat can just be thoughts, worrying thoughts, or it can be overexerting ourselves physically with like too much, like training even, and just too much output with not enough input in terms of like good foods and rest and like relaxation. And that's why I put seeds on my breakfast. I have protein as well, which I'm going to grab. And if you are interested, the protein that I use, you can get a discount code using code Brittany. I'm going to pop it on the screen. This is the one I use. It is back to front. Protein and collagen, 25 grams of protein, has digestive enzymes as well. So you don't get any sort of like bloating and tummy. This is probably the last. Yeah, I'm at the very, very last. But there's another order on the way. So fear not. Out the dregs. Yep. Pop that over with my pile of rubbish. So friend date last night went really well. I had so much fun. It was we went and saw Sinners. It wasn't too it was a thriller. It was about vampires too, but it was set in I don't want to get this wrong, but maybe the 20s, the 1920s. I'm not going to read with that spoon. I'm just going to drizzle this on. This looks so good. I have to show you in a secchi. Adds to pile. That is us done with breakfast. Look at that. Simple as pie. Let me show you. Georgina. I'm going to go enjoy this, do a little bit of work. I've got a new ebook coming out on actually eating for the phases of your cycle. So if you're interested, I will let you know. Hi, hello, we're back. It's now Sunday morning. Did not film anything from the remainder of yesterday. It was actually a really emotional day. So the rally was to fight against violence because there is kind of a growing epidemic. It's a national crisis here now in Australia. And it was good. It was just, very heavy, very emotional day. Lunch after, though. That was nice. And then came home. I literally fell asleep at 7:30. And then I woke up at 3. And I tried to go back to sleep and just couldn't. And so I just kind of got up. I have been working on a ebook over the last few days. I think I've already mentioned that. It's the thing when you film over a couple of days. I don't remember what I have and haven't already said to you. So anyway, I've been working on an ebook. Basically, it's just a food guide with recipes over how to eat to help to balance and harmonize your hormones within each phase of your cycle. So there's 4 phases of our menstrual cycle, and I refer to them as seasons. So winter is when you're bleeding and you're on your period, and then you come into your spring, which is that follicular phase. You're starting to feel really good and energized again and motivated. And then you come to ovulation, which is this peak, and that's our summer. And then we come into our luteal phase, so our autumn. We're starting to pull back a bit again. Our leaves are turning brown. They're about to shed essentially, and that's the winter again. It kind of goes through that and kind of highlights different foods that are beneficial to eat throughout these phases, depending on where your hormones kind of want to be sitting at, and particular foods that are higher in certain nutrients that help work as cofactors to support that hormone production and metabolism and excretion. We stay nice and balanced. I love doing these little kind of creative side project things to kind of just tinker away with in the background. I think especially when it comes to the body and health, I think sometimes we forget that everything is interconnected. Body's not a collection of just separate organ systems. Everything's interacting. There's a flow-on effect. With mental health, for example, your mood might be quite low, and I think we so often simplify it and just think, okay, maybe I just need to take this pill to help my mind, rather than kind of taking a step back and thinking, okay, is this related to maybe what I'm consuming thought-wise? Because our thoughts will alter the chemistry in our body. So thoughts can then trigger neurotransmitters and hormones, and a different, it elicits a physiological response within the body, a physical response within the body, chemical reaction within the body because of thoughts that we've had, whether they're true or not. That can change, shift our hormonal state. That can also create maybe more inflammation or less inflammation. So rather than thinking okay, maybe it's just due to serotonin, it could be due to a number of things. It could be due to either your thought patterns, maybe attaching, triggering an emotional state. And then oftentimes when we're in an emotional state, our brain can find or try to find a reason for that emotional state. And then we can attach a narrative and a story to that emotion, and it can keep perpetuating the cycle of thinking and believing and feeling a certain way. It could be due to underactive thyroid. That can also lead to feelings of depression and low mood. It can be due to neuroinflammation, inflammation in the brain and within the body. It can be due to an imbalance in your gut microflora. That can also, there's a gut-brain axis. So a large part of our serotonin is actually produced in the gut. And depression can come as an add-on effect to other conditions as well, other health conditions. So I think it's just really important to remember how interconnected everything is, and it's not a take this to fix that. And that's what we often see within medications as well, and even with supplements. Taking a pill, I'm not against medications or anything at all. And of course I use medication, and I also use supplements, and I prescribe supplements within my own kind of clinical practice, but understanding that there's you've got to take a wide a wide lens. And that's why I think it's important to work with a team of practitioners if you're going through something that's challenging for your health. So you've got someone to kind of help you with maybe how you're nourishing your body, maybe someone to help you with like creating some really good mindset tools and strategies to help you self-soothe and help you process through different thoughts and like any sort of complex conditions. Also having like a really good GP that help do appropriate testing and diagnosis and maybe prescribe medications if they're needed. Working with like a personal trainer or like a physio or something if there is something physical happening that's also then impacting other parts of your health. You know what I mean? Like having a really good support system and a team I find really beneficial. What am I trying to say? Everything is interconnected. So I think it's really, really important not to just reduce things down to this is happening, therefore I need this one simple thing. It's like doing everything we can to support our body. Because like I've said before, like our body's oftentimes having a normal response to an abnormal environment. Like I don't believe we have evolved to accommodate for how we are living our lives, like with so much screen time, with so much toxicity, much time indoors, how sedentary we can be, and with increased stress, and if we're like sitting in traffic for like long commutes to and from work, and then like the type of foods that we have access to and whether they're even like nutritionally dense or not, the level of like understanding we have around our food. You know, there's so many, and it's not just like one thing will fix all and a one size fits all approach. But yeah, hopefully this like triggers a thought to just take a step back when we're looking at issues or concerns that we have with our mind and our physical body, and not looking at everything as a separate thing, but looking at everything kind of working together. Like your mind's going to dictate how you physically feel and show up and look, as well as like your energy as well, like really focusing on energetics work. Like I think that's super important. That's coming from me as like a spiritual girly who believes that everything is energy. Anyway, I'm probably just going to leave the video here. Kind of like a This and Yap sesh. I hope you enjoyed it. Otherwise, reach out, especially if you have any recommendations for any more videos or anything you want me to talk more, and whether that be astrology or spirituality, just how I kind of live my life, ways that I like to self-soothe, anything to do with like nutrition and health. Anyway, open to ideas, open to suggestions, open to feedback, you know. Anyway, I hope you have enjoyed. Seeing you all here. See you in the next one. Bye. Love you.